Literally hundreds of cars and trucks out here. This one's really cool. Old Corvette track car. You imagine that thing being driven from California out here to Oklahoma. Today we are out in Afton, Oklahoma. This is an auction for liquidation of an old salvage yard. Literally hundreds of cars and trucks out here. This is on the lake. Walk around video. Take a look, see what's out here. Massive building. A lot of parts spread out. Inventory. Got the Alice D17 with the wide front. This little G, kind of a cute thing. Those are a fairly collectible tractor. Really neat concept, the way they built those. A lot of attachments with it too. Got the Chevy cab over truck. That one has got the one-piece door glass with the turn-down door handles. Then you got the GMC. It's got the vent glass with the push-button handles. Each year of those trucks, 47 to 54, had just minor differences. 54 GMC, pretty easy to tell from that one-piece curved windshield. It's the old Dodge 1-ton, believe about a 52. Those had a unique grille in them. Those park light ends are gold. Always rusted out. They'll bring quite a lot. That one looks like it's a runner driver. There's one of the old Pettibone. I was trying to think of the name. That one's got the front wheel assist. That thing probably saw a lot out here in the salvage. There's a really interesting little short all-terrain forklift. (1940) Chevrolet. A lot of one-year-only features on that. Got the separate headlight pods and running boards, which was the last year for those. 1941 Mercury. First year of that body style with a unique front end. Carried those through 48 with a different front end. Oldsmobile. That's a really nice car. Just a good old, well-preserved survivor. Call that refurbished, not necessarily all the way authentically restored. That would just be a good cruising car. Take a kid out for an ice cream cone. The little Case 1845. Those are about as indestructible as it gets. Everything's manual and 4BT Cummins in there. Got the Model T C cab. It's got somebody's hand-built plywood on there. This is a depot hack, presumably. It'll probably be uncovered later. This Model T actually has a structural wood body. It isn't real common for Fords. A car like this in this condition probably realistically will not ever be restored. Just way too complex and complicated for the value they bring when they're finished. This car meant better than new would have a hard time cracking 8 or 10,000. Old Ford ranch wagon. This one is 54. It's a pretty car. Had the old body shop refurb done back in the day. Probably same story on this Buick too. It's got the old plastic seat covers. What a neat car. Shows 22,000. Probably likely turned over, but you never know. Originally black, repainted green. (1949) Ford. Has the refrigerator style door handles and the skinny little front park lights. That's a really good survivor. Wow. That's a good car. 1938 Oldsmobile coupe. If you squint, this thing's almost identical to the 40 Chevy, except it had unique taillights, other ornamentation, of course its own unique grille. Yep. 1941 Chevrolet. It's an old unfinished street rod, like a lot of these out here. My dad had a 41 Chevy two-door that he sold in Virginia in '77 when he moved to Kansas. '51 Ford Victoria two-door hardtop. Really unique, one-year-only car. This one was sold a year or so ago up at the Miami sale. 1952 Chevrolet two-door hardtop. This is really a good car. Super neat patina. Really solid. Power glide. That would be a great car to restore. There will be online bidding for these. It's already going. This is a cool car. About a 46 or so Lincoln, presumably V12 under that big long hood. Such a neat car. Trying to imagine the original owner that bought this thing. Probably a banker or something. There's one of the original heads. The 6 spark plugs. There's a coupe. A lot of neat features. Little push button door handles. Just a super cool car. One of these, cheaper to buy one done. There was a Meekum sale just right over near here, Tulsa, I believe. They sold a fully restored Continental CCCA full classic, and it was like $5,000. So it's just crazy how dived the market is on these older cars. 80s and 90s stuff is really the up and coming. 50 Chevy Fleetline Fastback, pretty rusty in the bottom. These are really popular cars still, though. That all depends on who's looking and market value. This is a 31 Model A. I believe that's the Briggs body. Now you can see this one still has structural wood. All the inside body framing and the rocker sill panels. It's quite the logistical challenge to chop, and probably a bad idea. There's some abomination 4-wheel drive chassis. Looks like a Ford Explorer maybe under there. 30, it'd be a 7 or an 8 Chevy. The old Dodge Power Wagon. Another chassis swap. Chassis swap in most cases create more problems than you solve. It's an old 52-ish Mercury. Somebody's old custom back in the day. Probably needs a lot of rehabbing to be on the road again. Old Ryder van. I bought one of these wrecked and built it into a trailer once. American LaFrance fire truck that lost its bed. Thing's kind of neat. Old S10. The Krager centerline knockoffs. It's a vintage vibe on it. This one's really cool. Old Corvette track car. Totally custom built, caged out. Got the asphalt tires. Thing would be kind of cool to go racing in again. Not something I'd ever do. Little Volkswagen Caddy. Totally rust free. Really straight. I wouldn't really want one of these if you gave it to me, but I know there's good budding collector value for them. Lots of parts and engines, all kind of stuff. (1953) Chevrolet sedan delivery. Got the radiused wheel arches. Old purple 15-passenger van. There was kind of a flap back in the day about stability on those. I think some of it had to do with just people from churches or organizations that weren't used to driving a vehicle that big and the way they handled. I don't know that it necessarily had to do all the way with the axle placement. This is the Oldsmobile 98 Regency. Of course, if any of you been around the channel long, you know this is the one car that I came looking at fairly interestedly. And as you can see out here, one of these things is not like the others. This one presumably ran when parked, according to the auction flyer. Vinyl top about to blow off like a cheap toupee on the ride home, just like the 79s did a week ago. Super solid car. This one is gasoline 307, I believe they said from the bidding online there. Eskridge, I believe, is Oklahoma City, which we're not far from there. We're out almost in the northeast corner, Arkansas area. Get a little rust scale, but not. Woo! Look at that. Regency Brome. Sure, there's a little rust popping here and there. That's mostly just old adhesive, but that top will need to come off. A lot of cars been ruined by vinyl tops. This one presumably savable. And here is the absolute rarity of this car. That is leather interior. Regency Brome. Hoping to add this to the Olds 98 collection, but we will see what happens. Can't imagine there's a lot of Olds 98 buyers, this type of group of cars, but you never know. Old 41 to 48 Ford. A lot of these have been pretty crudely subframed. That was an old way of doing things back then in the 80s, 90s. Now you can buy a drop-in Mustang 2 cross-member if you want street rod. This is presumably, what is that thing, Nova or Camaro with the rear steer box. Some old crashed car, all wadded up, and took the frame off and scabbed it in here. 39 or 40 Ford. And another one. The old Jeep station wagon. Wow, somebody put a tornado engine in there. Wow. 63 and 64 only. And they're totally orphaned. You cannot even get a gasket kit for one. They were moved to South America production and changed a lot of things. So if you got one of these, neat display piece, but that's absolutely it. 47 Chevrolet Style Master that somebody's put Fleetline fenders on. What did the boys get running here? Looks like a 90s Chevy truck. Another 41 Chevrolet coupe. Very rusty in the bottom. A lot of good parts on that one. 1 year only. Got the bumper wingtips. See the little notches there. Those would have had a piece that ran all the way to the center. 46 Chevrolet. That grill is super nice, not perfect. Those are all individual pieces. These 47 and 8s, there's a whole lot more pieces. Very complicated to take one apart and replate it all and rivet it back together. So if you've got a decent one with good chrome on it, they're very desirable and valuable to sell. This is 38, presumably, Chevrolet. Almost all of these are missing the cowl tags. That little bump there, 37 or 8. This one presumably about a 29. Here we've got the Opel GT. Another one of these things is not like the others. Reupholstered inside. Not a horrible car. Almost rust free. There's the old rollback truck that he probably snatched a lot of these with. Oof. 38 Chevrolet. This was unfinished rod. Probably for the better. In the interest of public safety, that thing should not be on the road. Here probably 15 years ago, that was the big trend, was all the rat rods. And then I think a bunch of them got finished and they pretty much died out. Some people tried to sell them, and a lot of cases they barely brought much over what the parts were worth that were used to build them, and then a lot of them faded into obscurity like this. Man, look at how bad this thing is. Really unique one. This is a Packard limousine. Really rusty car. Gallons of Bondo. Super rusty. What a cool car though. Obviously strictly parts. Something like this may be used for an airport. Got the side mount fenders. That car would take up a whole trailer. and B, very hard to load. You'd have to have equipment. Somebody obviously tow barred it because it wouldn't fit on a trailer. But that'd be sketchy. Ford Super Duty. Look at this thing. 1952. What is this thing? An old Kenworth? Wow. Sure don't see too many of these. Is that a Peterbilt? The glory days definitely gone for it. These are complicated to restore and to garage and to move, so there are not a lot of them that do get restored. 1963 California tag on there. You imagine that thing being driven from California out here to Oklahoma. Crazy to think. This thing's super cool. Detroit diesel V12 generator. Massively heavy. See, got the twin superchargers. If a guy had a little sculpture park, that'd be cool to park out just to look at. The superchargers and the turbos. I think it would make a massive amount of power and a massive amount of noise. This thing, 3/4 ton or 1 ton. About a 55 or 6 Chevrolet. It's got the visor. Those have been reproduced for a while, so it's not tremendously valuable. Another 47 Chevrolet. Corvette with the T-tops. These are Star Wires or Keystone or Krager. About everybody had a version of those back in the 70s. Looks like an old Daimler, possibly. Yeah. Daimler-Benz 170D. This would be post-war sometime. This one is really neat. Even totally dilapidated. It'd be really cool just to piece that together and park it out in a display area somewhere. As utterly ruined as it is. Sadly though, the hood and grill are gone. That is really cool. Double transverse leaves. See tiny little bores. Injector pump. This is a cool car to look at. Never actually seen one up close. Wow. Then we've got the Sunbeam Alpine. Super solid car. On the outside it is, on the inside it is not. I've actually got one of these for parts that I've been trying to sell. Saved from the crusher. These are all a one-piece body that the front fender is all welded in. So if you ever wreck one, you can't just go unbolt a fender off one at a junkyard. Basically got to buy the whole car and cut it apart, which is the intention I have for mine if anybody ever needs one. You could actually get a Ford V8 version of this. They called the Tiger, and they are fairly desirable collector vehicle. So it's not your average British car that just isn't worth a whole much at this age. Those Tigers kind of skew the value curve up for these. There's a hot rod coming into the row. Little SU carburetors. Go take a look at that one in a bit here. Lots of engines, parts, pieces, you name it. This is a Ford C-Series. Old service truck with the auger. Presumably used for electrical utilities. They built these from like 1958 to 1990. Really long time. There's little details you can catch that show you the model year. This one has the 68 through 70s style reflector markers on it. That one's actually a diesel model. These have limited collector value, but again, being a medium duty truck, not everybody has the means and the facilities to work on them. And having been built for 3+ decades, they do have quite a pool of potential builder trucks available, so you don't have everybody beating down the doors for them. Anybody that does want one can be pretty choosy. There's the old 60s Chevy van, about a 64 through 67. I think they built these all the way up to 69. So your 8s and 9s would have had little side marker lights, federally mandated in 68. That one looks super straight, super solid. Needs some rust patching. Some scale on the floor. Nothing that couldn't be fixed up. Just a very simple, rudimentary vehicle. Got the little engine doghouse up in the center. I was reading on one of the Facebook groups the other day, there's a certain late model car color that you can buy that's just an exact duplicate to this shade. Restore one back to factory. This one's had the aluminum windows cut into it, which isn't super desirable. A lot of people made these into campers back in the day. And we've got the 1950 Chevrolet Fleetline 4-door. And then some abomination subframed crew cab globby welded monstrosity. Got the Dodge Power Wagon. That is a really neat truck. These have a good collector value to them. That one's just a very good, honest old survivor. Not been worked to death. I'm not into these trucks, but if somebody was, that's actually a really good one. This 3/4 ton turn down handles with the vent windows, and it is riding on 19.5s, so that's a very desirable set of wheels. That's probably a $400 truck with a $1,500 set of rims on it. Things caught fire and burned out and depleted. You could toss a hood on it and a junky set of wheels and sell the rest for $1,000 for yard art. Oh, definitely probably should come home with Joe. He's on his way. I left last night and camped in the Hotel Express, and he left early this morning. We both had a lot of stuff to finish up at home yesterday, and I finished mine and left, and he finished his late last night. 36 Chevrolet. A lot of 1 year only features on that, including the grill. Some old 38 Plymouth, presumably. Somebody's cut this apart. Strictly parts in this condition. From what's here, you can still tell that was a business coupe. Had the little divider with the plywood panel, no back seat. Another old Plymouth. Some chassis, maybe a Corvette. An old Buick. '35 or '6 Ford. Chevrolet 1950. This is the true coupe with the short roof with the short quarter windows and the long deck and trunk lid, specific to that car. Not shared with any other Chevy body style of those years. This is a Winnebago Lacharo. Believe these were built on a Renault chassis, but I'm not certain of that. very European. 4-lug wheels, the huge bolt pattern. Very good quality body construction. Steel and fiberglass. None of the composite nonsense to fall apart and leak. 141,000. So it's been around. Never actually seen one of these. Not a lot of RVs this old that have sat with no roof leaks.